Hello, hello. Thank you for coming on. Hello, hello. God bless you. God bless you. Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Hello, Terry. Thank you for coming on. Second day in a row, you on fire. Listen here. I tell you all, I have a goal that I'm trying to make, okay? So I have to stay before the Lord. Lord, I want to do this 20, I want to do 20 more broadcasts before the year is out, okay? So I got to get kicking, right? And plus to get my momentum going. Glory to God. Listen here. I'm trying to get my momentum going, all right? So I got to get on it. So thank you guys for coming on. Thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate you. I know probably there's other scopes you can be on right now or other things you can be doing. Amen. The overflow, absolutely. But I am excited to be on. First of all, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to grow and transform right before your eyes and allowing me to practice the prophetic on you guys. Okay, so today I was thinking, I was like, Lord, I what I could talk about, Lord, what I am going to talk about. I really want to do this, Lord, and I need you to help me, about who ain't nobody else we want to watch. Praise the Lord. And so listen here, I don't know if you guys remember some time ago, right? And for those of you who just started following me, listen here. I had a moment, right? I had a moment about last year or so, just started to do Periscope, just trying to follow the voice of the Lord and just trying to understand what God is speaking and what God is saying, right? And so some time ago, I heard the Spirit of the Lord say concerning prayer that I must pray at 3, right? Who remember that? Who remember this big boo-boo, right? So I heard the Lord say to pray at 3. So automatically, immediately, I fly off the bandwagon. Listen here, first of all, let me slow down. For those of you who are just joining me, my name is Meltoria Woodside. The Lord has released me to tell my story on how I overcame infidelity in my marriage. When Wives Fight, Families Win. I am author of the book When Wives Fight, Families Win. If you have not gotten a copy, I do encourage you to go to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com and get yourself a copy. It's an amazing book. I'm just honored that the Lord entrusted me to tell my story to his people. And so that's all that is, okay? And to understand why... Hi, I ordered your book the other day. Well, praise the Lord. To understand, why or what am I doing here, talking where I come from. First of all, you know how it is. There are some people that are in caves you never hear about, you never see, you never know about them. All of a sudden, boom, where did they come from, right? But we all have a time of processing where, well, I know for me personally, the Lord had me in a time of processing and transformation and just seeking him and, building a relationship with him. After being what I call a Bible-toting Christian for so long, at a point in your life where you're so frustrated, God, you need divine help. You get to that place where God, you just give it over to the Lord. That's where I was, and that's why I'm here. So anyhow, back to the story. So last year, for those of you who just started following me sometime this year or so after the fact, listen here, the Lord told me to pray, because at first I was always, I already had my prayer time going. And I always, it was intimate time with me and the Lord. And now all of a sudden the Lord told me to, tell my story. I'm ministering to wives. Now I have a mandate to intercede, not only for myself and my family and my personal issues and what I had going on, but the Lord called me to intercession for families. And so, hey, what a great and awesome task. Yay, I will do it. And so the Lord instructed me to pray at 3. Now listen here, for any of you know, and for more people who are more seasoned in the prophetic, there is revelation, and by the time as God done show you something, translating what God say and then executing what God tell you is a whole different story. So here it is, the Lord tell me to pray at 3, right? And so I done fly off the wall. Right, the Lord said I must pray at 3 a.m. And so for a while, I was praying at 3 a.m. Now listen here, even if you just started following me, many people say they are catching up on my videos. It's back there, but I can tell you guys about it anyway, right? And so anyways, now I praying at 3 a.m., getting up out my bed, 3 a.m., for like the longest, a good 2 or 3 months, like seriously, like consistently, faithfully getting up at 3 a.m. to pray on behalf of marriages. Well, listen, one day, my husband, he was just like, honey, did the Lord tell you to pray at 3 a.m. or 3? And so, I done been praying for 3 a.m. now for a couple of months. Well, so now my husband is challenging what I believe the Lord told me. Well, I was like, he said, pray about it. He said 3. So then my husband say, did that mean 3 a.m. or the 3rd watch? Now, hey, wait a minute now. Pump the brakes. Really? God did say 3. Did he say 3 a.m. or 3rd watch is the question. So now I got to pray because I done off now and I done been doing this for a couple months, right? And I done tell these wives, I'm praying at 3 o'clock, join me at this prayer time, la la la, ray. And then to turn around, after I was like, listen here, it's all a place of humility and understanding where I may have made a mistake. Wait a minute, right? Stop, hold on. And so, I'm in a place with God where, listen here, I already know, but flesh, I already know I am human. So I ain't trying to make nobody believe that what I ain't. And I won't dare deceive myself and making myself to believe I am what I ain't, right? So anyways, now I'm praying and asking the Lord. I said, Lord, this is what I know you told me to. I said, Lord, please reveal to me if it's a 3rd watch or 3 a.m. So listen here, when I begin to really research the 3rd watch, I had no thing. All I gotta do is laugh. I laugh and I laugh at myself, right? But then at the same time, I start whining like, Lord, why did you release me to these wives? And I'm not ready. I'm just growing. Hello. Thank you for coming on. I'm just growing. And at the same time, I've only found out that I was a prophet myself about a year before or a few months before. So I'm like, I'm not ready. Whining, right? Like a spoiled child. Before the Lord, seriously, true story, whining before the Lord. Why? Did I make this mistake? And you say 3, and I thought it was 3 a.m. and it was a 3rd watch, and I whining before the Lord, right? So anyways now, and y'all guys know I could not make people believe that, listen here, I had to straighten up myself and I had to come on publicly and say, listen here, the Lord didn't tell me 3 a.m. The Lord told me the 3rd watch. But thank God that, I always pray and ask the Lord to continuously give me humility, all right? Humility is so important. Like, it's the ultimate thing. Like, Lord, keep me humble, right? The 3rd watch is the hour in which to pray. That's from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. So that's so during prayer times, you have instead of this hour and the next hour, you have the 1st watch, you have the 2nd watch, the 3rd watch, the 4th watch. I think is 6 watch hours, something like that. But I know the Lord called me to the 3rd watch because during the 3rd watch is the time where, it's like the witching hour. It's the good time to play for families and marriages. It's the strategic time in the spiritual realm to intercede on behalf, of marriages. And so this is what the Lord had said for me to do. But how we go. I was so excited that the Lord gave me some type of instructions again that I jumped the gun. And so here it is. Here it is now. I was whining before the Lord. Lord, why? 12 to 3 is when the demonic spirits are out. Absolutely. And so anyways, now, as I begin to think about this today, and although it had to be like over a year now when I had this episode, but as I was asking the Lord to give me, Lord, what I going to talk about on Periscope today, right? And the Lord began to remind me of this particular situation and where I was at the time. And then the Lord began to show me how I've changed and how I have developed right before my audience eyes. Now, this ain't nothing about, let me get this straight. This ain't got nothing to do with me. I already know that. But God was strategic in what he was doing. And this is why this Periscope is called Metamorphosis, right? And so I posted on my Facebook yesterday, a picture of a butterfly in me in the back. It was a beautiful picture, but that was like the point. Metamorphosis is the process in which I have gone through from the time when God basically released me, out to the world to talk about something that was very intimate to me, was something was very dear to my heart. And he allowed me to transform basically right before my audience eyes. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you what metamorphosis is. Metamorphosis is a change or change of the form or nature of a thing or person into a completely different one by natural or supernatural means. Now, here's the thing. When I began to look this up, I had to look deeper because I was like, Lord, okay, I understand. Oh, this is beautiful. I understand this. Okay, God, yes. And metamorphosis can take weeks, months, or even years. It all depends. Now, the dictionary said it depends on the inset. But as I read this, the metamorphosis in this particular state, it depends on the person. Okay, it depends on the purpose, on the person. So all our changes, all our transformation could be different from person to person. And so as I begin to really think on this and how is it relevant? Listen here. This is what the Lord told me. He said he allowed me to transform right before my audience eyes so that I can be a beacon of hope. Listen, what's a beacon of hope for people, specifically wives? Because why? Let me tell you something. Understand this, ladies. I was right in your position about 11 years ago. I was right where you are right now. I was in that place. I couldn't see fire for smoke, okay? I was in that place. I don't know if I can survive mentally or I can just lose my mind. Okay? Yes, Kina is up late again. So I was in that position where many of you are. Listen, I'm fighting for your marriage. Don't know if you can be a single woman or what at the end of the day. Like I did not know. And to see how God has transformed me from then to now, I'm like, wow, God, yes, Lord. Because why did the Lord allow me to transform in the front of like public? Lord allowed me to transform publicly because God wanted to show his people on what he wants to do. Glory be to God in this season of your life. God wants you to see how he wants to transform you in his image and in his likeness. So yesterday I did a Periscope on raising seals and it had the same comparison as how God wants to transform you right before, listen here, into this place now where you're crying from your pillow. Every night, every other night, you are emotional wreck. You don't know whether you need to go or come. So, but God wants to show you how he wants to transform you. Not only how he wants to transform you, but if you continue to stay committed to God and not allow the enemy to overcome you, This is the point that you will be at. Many of you gonna raise up now. I know you always be saying, oh, powerful woman of God. Some of y'all could even be even greater than I am. And will reach even greater people that I have reached. Listen here. I ain't mad at you. Yay, God. Yay, kingdom. And so the Lord wants to show you what? A transformation period. From natural to supernatural. Listen here. Blessed is the man. I'm talking about blessed and highly favored is the man who remains steadfast under trial. For when he stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those that love him. You listen here. Many people, y'all already know, and y'all probably know some people. People lose their way in this season of their life. When you see trials hit them so hard, people lose their way. But if you remain steadfast in him, knowing that he's able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all you could ever ask or think concerning your marriage, your finances, your husband, your everyday life, God is able to do great in your life. But listen, you got to allow God to take you through this process. Let me tell you something. As I was looking this up, I was thinking about something. I was really thinking about something. Because, when we talk about metamorphosis, we always compare it to caterpillars, right? And we see how caterpillars transform into this, listen here, this caterpillar, soft, right? Crawling on the floor, fragile, okay? Listen here, could easily be stomped by prey and predators. I mean, like fragile piece of insect. And we see how they transform into this beautiful insect. But listen here, can fly we can fly the air to and fro with wings. Beautiful. My Lord, not only it's a beautiful transformation, but the transformation is a very powerful transformation, because they ain't no longer this bug wiggling on the floor. Hello, it's like you move from the ground now to the airways. Glory be to God. And so as we understand this, you got to understand something. Okay, this process that you are going through, it's all a part of the transformation. My God. It's all a part of the transformation. Because if you take things to look at it now, some of y'all ain't never used to pray before y'all start having marital troubles. Before we on marital trouble, some of y'all never fasted. Glory be to God. Thank you for inviting followers. Some of y'all ain't never fast. For some of y'all, this the most some of y'all ever read the Bible. Glory be to God. Sometimes for some of you, this the most you ever talk to the Lord. Let me tell you something. I guilty. Okay? I've been put on trial. Hell, verdict is guilty. Okay? Because I was a minister of the gospel. I was a youth pastor and a dance minister. And let me tell you something. The most I did was a corporate fast when the church say pray. Okay? I won't even talk about open my Bible. Only the time when the caterpillar takes itself into seclusion. Listen here, hold on, I ain't get to that yet. Wait a minute. From Waters, you done jump in the gun. Okay? So the most I did was when I had youth group, the most I did, I got to prepare to make sure I have something so I can present to them. Talking about spending time and studying the word. Ooh, Lord, forgive me for the times that I was lukewarm. Lord, forgive me for the times of the years that I walked lukewarm before you. And so it wasn't until I had marital issues that I start, listen here, when you talk about learn to pray, guilty. I'm scared to say, I'm too ashamed to say, guilty. It's the most I prayed during that season of my life. And by this time now, I've been saved now. How much years I was saved then? I don't know. I probably was some 6-7 years saved before I began to have that issues in my life. So I thought I was like, hello, going to heaven on a one-way ticket. Of course, if I died, I was going to heaven, right? But I'm talking about I was a lukewarm. Listen here, I know if I was going to heaven because the Lord say He's gonna spit me out. I was lukewarm. Lukewarm. Seriously. Okay? And so now here it is now. When you see marital issues here, listen here. My prayer was different. I even spending time now reading the word because listen here, I need divine help, right? Lord, this something. If I don't read this word, I can take and I can lose my mind by my hands, okay? I can lose my neck by my own hands. I'm telling you. Okay, and so the trouble and the trials that I went through, it was the process that caused me to grow as a stronger, not only stronger woman of God, not only as a stronger woman, but a stronger woman of God. And so during this time now, listen here, see, some of you guys, I done tell people before already, you got to find balance. In this thing here, you got to find balance because some of us are so consumed with the issues of our marriage that we're not finding any time to pray and to become closer in the Lord. Use this opportunity, this burning desire that you already know. You already know that God, only you could fix this. Because listen here, I'm talking about, I know some people who get saved since their husband started cheating on them. Now, sorry, that's what it had to come to, but praise the Lord anyhow. And some people only get saved because they was having marital issues because deep down inside, you know who is the true God. Hello? And so I was at that place where, listen here, oh my God, I'm talking about when you see the enemy have a target for your head, that means that the Lord have purpose for your life, okay? So anytime you are marked by God, listen at all, you ought to know that it was good that I was afflicted. Absolutely. It was good that I was afflicted. Okay? But let me tell you something. When you see you are marked by God, listen and know that the enemy got a target on your back too. So here it is now, it's now time. It's time for me to begin this process of transformation. It's time for me to grow in who God has called me to. And so, when the Bible says we always use Job, have you considered my servant Job? Have you considered my servant Meltoria? My God, at this time, oh, glory be to God, transformation is about to take place. And so now that I've committed, let me tell you something. Let me talk about balance now. And I know some people are in a place where it's fresh. You just catch your husband cheating a couple months ago. Woman of God, I don't know what to do. I need your help. That's okay. There is a mourning process. Cry. Finally caught you live. Hey, Crystal's God's daughter. Glad to have you on, right? And so now here it is now. There's a process of mourning. There's a process where you will be in a space where you borderline depressed. For some people you're depressed, okay? You borderline fixing to lose your mind. But let me tell you something. You got to bring that season. At some point, you yourself have to bring that season to a close. You can't stay in summer all year round. You can't stay in winter or 12 months of the year. You got to decide within yourself when you bringing that season of your life to a close. You have to. Because guess what? If you allow the enemy, you will be experiencing winter 12 months. If you allow the enemy, you will the whole 3 years. Your husband will leave you now. You've been struggling for 3 years. The whole 3 years, you depressed. Bring that season of your life to a close. Some of you, unlike myself, your husband had a child with another woman, and 8-9 years later, you still struggling. Bring that season of your life to a close, so you can be free. Don't allow the enemy to have this stronghold over your life. Because guess why? If you don't bring that season to a close, your transformation process can go on longer than it should. See, metamorphosis, it says that it can take weeks, months, or even years. It all depends on what? The person, the individual, and the Webster Dictionary say the insect. But how long is your transformation going to take place? That's up to you. That's up to you. And so here it is now. After being so pitiful and sorrowful for so long, right? I'm talking about me now. Being pitiful and sorrowful for so long, emotional wreck, roller coaster, mountain valley. I came to a point in my life where God, like, forget this. No, I can't do this no more. And I gave it over to the Lord, and I mentioned this before. But it wasn't until at this point where I could bring my metamorphosis, my transforming period. Glory be to God. Yes, especially every time you find something new with a child, God's daughter, you got to check out one of my periscopes when I thought, listen, that must be 2 scopes ago. Right? You got to bring your place in this season where you're going to transform to a caterpillar to the butterfly. You can't stay a caterpillar too long. My God. Because the purpose and the plan is for you to what? Transform into the butterfly. Transform into a strong woman in the spirit. That's the purpose. The purpose ain't for you to always be a baby, you know. When the Bible says that milk is for babes, and meat is for those that are mature. Because why? God wants you to mature. And maturity is a process from what? Baby to adult. Now, spiritually, there are some people who've been saved for 10, 15 years and they still on milk. They still can't handle the deep things. They still can't eat meat. But we ain't talking about them right now. We talking about women now. You've been fighting for 4 years and you still in the same position mentally that you was 4 years ago. Listen, that you ain't allowing transformation to take place. You got to transform. Be not conformed to this world, but you got to transform by the renewing of your mind. If you don't begin to change the way you think about this whole situation, you will never ever experience that total transformation. I'm talking with mind, body, and spirit. Where you physically in a better place, you mentally in a better place, and you spiritually in a better place. And so like I said the Lord, it was God's purpose, it was God's plan to have me transforming before your eyes. Because why? God wants to show you an example of possibility. God wants to show you an example of what's possible. And so before I come on Periscope, in the gap between infidelity and my marriage starting to work out, I had a period where, listen here, I said, God, like, forget this. I lay this at your feet. If you can't change it, it can't be changed. And I went into that space of what? Isolation. So that I can have time with me and God. This time of isolation is important and it is crucial. Now listen here, some of y'all won't go from straight fighting for your family straight out to ministering. Where is your time of isolation where you can properly heal, where you can properly gain your strength, where you can properly gain your momentum for you to be molded in what God wants you to do and who He wants you to become? And so before now, listen here, I remember some people asking, are you and your husband still together? See, this is the thing. We were made whole first. And then the Lord said, okay, it's time to tell your story. That's why I didn't know what God was talking about. You all hear me say all the time, when God say it's time to tell your story, I didn't know what He was talking about. Okay? Because this situation was like, hello, this was a thing of my past. This wasn't even, it wasn't even at arm's reach. Like, you know how you say, let things go. Listen, I say, like, God around here digging up stuff. Lord, you around here digging up stuff. Like, I didn't put that one to bed. I didn't put that one to rest. God, you around here digging up stuff. Okay? So I had to have that period of what? Just like the caterpillar goes into a period of isolation. right? So that they are, let me tell you something, let me tell you how the process of transformation takes place for the caterpillar. They begin to, their old self is basically, they die to their self. They die to what they was. And now the transformation is taking place in this isolated place. I mean, away from everybody. Away from what they know, away from family members, in order to be transformed into what God has called them to be. And so I had this time of transformation. I'm telling you, listen here, he had to dig up stuff so you could help thousands. Absolutely, to glory be to God. Listen here, when I tell you about my isolation, like it was me and God. Like I find out who I was, that's the moment when I found out that I'm called to be a prophet. Like, where did that come from? Like, what? Who tell you all this? It was this time of isolation where I discovered purpose and what God was calling me to be. Now, when you see, I was looking for something else. Now, I said, God, please don't let me be a pastor. Okay, so you ain't gonna have no question about what God wants you to do. I said, God, please don't let me be no pastor. I just knew it was something great that God wanted me to do, because during my time of isolation, I began to hear the Lord, glory be to God, clearer than I've ever heard him before. Like, we always say, I hear the Lord say, I hear the Lord say. But let me tell you something, I already know people who say they hear the Lord say, don't hear nothing. Because that was me. I remember times when I was saying, oh, this is what the Lord said. But let me tell you something. It was this moment where I heard the Lord spoke, and I was like, what? There, listen here. I'm telling you, like you hearing for the first time. You have these, you have these, for real, you ain't heard nothing. Right? So blessing, Shebe Major, thank you for coming on. So this time now, I'm like, what? Like what? Like my ears are open, like for real. But it was in this time of seclusion, in this time of isolation, that the Lord can really pour into you. That the Lord can really minister, not to your flesh, but to your spirit. Because a lot of times, isn't it, in the season of your life, now many people ain't gonna admit, but a lot of times we get our emotions ministered to and not our spirit. Minister to our emotions, because in the season where we are, in the time in the we end too much, we getting our flesh fed too more than our spirit. And so God took me in this time of seclusion, like, I'm talking about, I began to study some stuff that I've never ever heard in my church. And I believe that I got good teaching with the church. I don't doubt that I got good teaching. But it was more that God wanted to open me up to. But it was this time of seclusion when the Lord began to listen here. Open me up to stuff. When I began to hear the voice of the Lord and be able to be led by the Spirit. Melvin said confirmation, absolutely. Crystal said deeper, yes, deeper. Like what? What is this? I'm, Lord, like I scratching my head because what is this what was this? I said, Lord, how come I never see this before? I said, God, I've been in church for so many years. I never see, why I never hear my pastor say this. And I never heard this, Lord. I said, Lord, Holy Spirit, and then I questioned myself because why I get in the scripture now? Why am I understanding this like this? And during that, I'm talking about during the time of seclusion, where God is just ripping out everything. And during this time too, this is where I had my process of deliverance, gaining revelation. Absolutely, Crystal's God's daughter. Okay, in my time of seclusion, I'm talking about my ears was open, my eyes was open. I had times of deliverance. I've been delivered from stuff that I didn't even know I was bound by. I'm talking about, the process of seclusion. This time where you get full intimacy with the Lord. And so now here it is when the Lord launched me out. Of course, if it was up to me, I would have stayed in seclusion a little bit longer. Let me tell you something, that's a sweet place. Like, I ain't have this true story, this place of seclusion, I weren't, but nobody else. I ain't worrying about nobody else's marriage. I ain't worrying about nobody else's problem. I just basking in the Lord, listening to God. Lord, what you want to show me next? You know, it's a sweet place. If it was up to me, like I would have waited a little bit longer before if I was coming out to the world, I would personally would have waited a little bit longer because I felt as if that there were some things that I felt it was still some stuff that I needed to learn or some stuff I wanted to learn first before I thought I would have wanted to come out and say, this is what Meltori is doing. This is who was, me. But like I say, God knows where you are. And so because now that I came to this place where I allow, the transformation period to take place. I ain't transformed myself. I allowed God to transform me. That means I cry in a season where I had to cry my tears. I cry my tears in that season, okay? In that time, I had to rejoice, like, praise the Lord. I'm finally out of that season I'm in. Like, thanks be to God, I'm in a good place. I enjoyed that space. And then now, when God say, hey, it's time for you to come out. It's time to come out of the cocoon. It's time for you to come out of seclusion. It is time. Glory be to I didn't think I was ready. Like, God, I wanted to stay there a bit longer. Like, I ain't trying to come out here and ain't ready because let me tell you all something. If you take a caterpillar out the cocoon before it's time, that's instant death. The thing will die. Y'all could search this up for yourself. I'm talking about metamorphosis, okay? If you take the insect out of their seclusion before their appointed time, glory be to God. Hello, Pastor Etta. Thank you for coming on. If you take the insect out of seclusion, it's liquid. It will die. It say it will ooze out. And so, Lord, here it is. I was thinking, well, what if I did come out seclusion before my appointed time? Listen here, y'all. Look it up, man. Look it up. If you come out of the place where your transformation is taking place, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. If you come, let's talk about abort your destiny. Nah. This metamorphosis now. And so where, like, abort your mission premature, absolutely. That's like taking the baby out the womb too early. They can't survive the elements. And so if you take the insect out of the cocoon, out of their transformation period before it's time, that's it. It's all over. Life cycle and stuff. And so when I felt as if, Lord, I wanted to stay in some more, even if it's staying too long, it's going to die. It has to come out at an appointed time. And so when I thought I came out too early, the Lord said it was appointed time. Because why? Even I understand this. I was like, wow. It's like when people were saying, wow, woman of God, I came I found your video at just the right time. I saw your video on YouTube at just the right time. Someone shared your video at just the right time. My God. It's at just the right time. We got to be careful that we're not moving, guess what, ahead of time, because guess what, there are people who are waiting for you, but it's at an appointed time. And so, like I said, I was whining to God. Why I had to come out now? Why? And I ain't ready. Now I saying I didn't ready, and Lord forgive me for being a whining kid. Because guess why? It was at the right time. Because God wanted me to transform before your eyes. So what here it is. Now, I tell people all the time, I'm only an example. I ain't it. I am only an example. My marriage is an example of what the power of God can do. My life is just an example of what the power of God can do. Yes, I was in that place where I didn't know. I wasn't even, listen, 10 years ago, ministering to somebody. Like if somebody even tell me that sound like foreign language. That would sound like French or Spanish. Well, not even Spanish because I can understand Spanish a little bit. That would sound like French or German. What? If somebody to come to me 10 years ago, tell your story, what? That would sound like Dutch. Crystal, God's daughter, come on now. Or people will push you into things too soon. Yes, I have many people saying, you need to write a book. What? I'm talking about years ago. Like, seriously, like, ancient time ago. People tell me, you need to write a book. Write a book for what? Now, that was my response. Because, see, my eyes was just not open to the possibility of God using me as an example to help other women or to help other marriages. Like, seriously. And mind you, listen here. You know, I tell people all the time, there is evidence of what God wants you to do. There is evidence. How many people, there are so much people that I minister to, woman of God, so much people come to me, want me to pray for their marriage. So much people want me to do this, and I'm not in a place. My marriage having issues too, and they want me to pray for them. Listen here. I had people come to me talking about their marital issues. Well, child, listen here. I different. See, now seriously, I can really say that I different because when people come to me talking about their marital issues, child, all I do is I was a listening ear. Because, honey, I barely making it myself. I can't help you because inside, like, my marriage ain't all that together. You know, and that's why people from the Bahamas to do many things right now. And I'm like, you hearing this from, it's not time. That's right, it's not time. And so people at that time, you know, people always coming to me, oh, my husband this and my husband that, my husband this and this and that. All I was a listening ear. Because people come to me talking like, I can't even help you, sorry. Right? And many people came to me, many people was like, Meldoria, what you think about this? Child, I know. I do not know. See, this is why people were so, like, a lot of, you know, like I said, the community where I came from in the Bahamas, it was a small community, like everybody knew everybody. And if you just come to the island, we know you ain't from there because we don't know you, right? Small island. And so here it is now. People are shocked. What? I can't believe it. Can't believe that I went through what I went through. Can't believe it. You know, people who are real close to me, I'm talking about, we share intimate conversations. They were like, wow, Mel. Wow. Yeah, because why? I'm sorry, the marriage conversation, like, I ain't the one to have that with. I'm sorry. I can't help you. And then to think about, you know, after the time when, you know, God was processing me, I was learning about healing and deliverance and ready now. Lord, you done teach me all this stuff about the ministry of Jesus, about healing and deliverance. I'm ready to do this thing. But then you say, it's time to tell the story. Like, okay, let's get this out of the way and get into the real business. Seriously, like almost 2 years ago, I wouldn't even qualify myself to tell nobody about their marriage and what to go through. I just plain shut up about it because I went to hell. Like I can't help you. I don't know what you want me to tell you. You know how I went. Like, child, all I say is grace. Lord, give her grace. Sometimes when people giving anniversary, I say, Lord, give them strength. Right? When people go to get married, I say, Lord, I hope they know what they're getting into. Just because I know what I went through. But it was a period of isolation. And then God said, you know, It's time to tell your story, and the Lord wanted you, many of you who listen to my YouTube, or who watch my YouTube videos, who join me on Periscope, who join me on Facebook Live, the Lord wanted you to see my transformation, because it's a purpose behind it. God is not a respecter of persons. God is not a respecter of persons. What God did in my life, in my personal life, as an individual, as a woman of God, as a wife, as a mother, what God is doing in my life, He is going to do in your life also. But you can't, don't allow nobody to break you out of that cocoon too early. Don't let nobody do it. You know what I realized, and I heard this a couple times. A chick have to break out of the shell itself, else it will die. The chick have to break out of the shell itself, or it will die. Some of you, people trying to break you all out of the shell. Y'all don't allow people to take you out of the shell. You get processing to go through. You get growth to go through. There is things that God is doing in you now in this season. It ain't for the public to see. Allow whatever is transforming in your life to transform. Allow you to grow mentally. Allow yourself to grow spiritually. Let me tell you something. Seriously, Drew, just listen here. I don't know how I gonna handle it. 5, 6, I don't know how I could handle it. I ain't even talking about 10, 11 years ago. I ain't even talking about that period. I'm talking about 7 years ago. I don't know. I couldn't do this 7 years ago. I couldn't do this 7 years ago. You know what it is. People telling me about their marital issues, and I had the same issues, and I wasn't healed from it. And my husband's still acting the fool. And people coming to me and telling me about their issues. I couldn't imagine my state of mind. Because even now, when people tell me what they're going through, I feel a burden. I feel a serious burden. When you see time to pray, I ain't even thinking about just me trying to love upon God. I take it about, Lord, we get some business to tend to, because sister over here in New Jersey is fighting with her husband right now. Sister over here in Chicago, she needs you to move on her behalf because her husband is doing something. That sister over here in Atlanta, she needs you to move on her behalf. Because right now her husband is processing divorce. All these burdens now that, listen here, these are burdens to carry. Although I don't carry them every day, I carry them before the Lord in prayer. But I'm thinking about what an emotional wreck I would have been if I had come out 7 years ago when I had not had that time of intimacy with the Lord. Like, seriously. Like, even when my husband began to love on me, what if I had stepped out and say, I come into, I don't think I could have handled it. I don't think I would have been able to handle it. And so I thank God, because listen here, God's timing is perfect. God's timing is so perfect. Because even during the time when I was whining and complaining, and I was like, God, why you allow me to come on and tell my story now? Like, I tell God I'm ready. Oh, Lord have mercy, forgive me. I said, God, I ain't ready. Forgive me, Lord, for I even thinking about how spoiled I was acting during that time. Like a little brat. Like God didn't know. Like He know just where I was when He released me on Periscope. He knew just what I was able to endure when He released me on Periscope. He knew just what He was doing. God is God all by Himself. He knew just what He was doing. He knew just what He was doing. And so now here it is now, as I'm just looking at how everything falling into place, how God's timing was just so strategic, and I thank God that, but I can't, listen, I can't even, But I thank God that I didn't move prematurely. But child, listen here, it wasn't even on my mind. It wasn't even on my mind to talk about what I've been through. I would say, something wasn't in the front of my mind. But listen, it wasn't even in the back of my mind. It wasn't even on the side of it was not in my mind. Like, I would have never come and speak about what I have gone through, and I know now, here it is, we all up and tell your story, which is great. Stories are great. But listen here, had God not tell me to come? You all know I say this all the time because I'm telling you that's just how serious I am. It was all God. And as I think on today, God wanted me to transform before your eyes just so I can be an example to what he want, what this process would take you through, to what you would become. I'm talking about a greater woman of God, a greater seal, higher, moving in higher dimensions of the spirit. Kale means absolutely beautiful butterfly. Into a beautiful butterfly. When people look up at your wings, like they marvel. Glory be to God. Like people see how beautiful you are. People see how strong you are and be like, wow. What an awesome comparison. But don't allow nobody to take you out of that cocoon before your time. It will cause death and destruction. It will cause, we need to marinate in the cocoon until Jesus says we're done. He does all things well. Absolutely. He does all things well. Everything have to be in place before you come out. Glory be to God. And so, my Lord, listen here. I am just so, I'm excited for what God is doing. And I know some of you are going through now. And listen here, I've been in that place where I couldn't seriously, I couldn't even comprehend me being here 10 years ago. I couldn't comprehend me being here. Like, I say tap into your imagination and see yourself. I couldn't even, like what I was going through at that time, I couldn't see myself here. I just couldn't. I couldn't even, my imagination wasn't even together. Like, my imagination was so messed up. Like, I was seeing things that I didn't even see. Like, you inside your mind, all you seeing is your husband out doing craziness. I couldn't even imagine myself walking in the things of God. I couldn't even see myself growing in prayer. Prayer even used to be a struggle for me. Prayer used to be such a great struggle. I mean, y'all don't even know. Prayer was such a struggle for me. Prayer was such a struggle. Like, Our Father prayer, I was having a hard time even getting through that. I was having a hard time getting through Our Father prayer. And a lot of times, you'll know where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. I see the enemy attack. Listen, the enemy fought me so hard in prayer. I was at a point where I was like, God, I just feel like I got to get my prayer life together. I had those times when I felt as if, listen here, you need to fight this. I'm telling you, I knew it was Holy Spirit just telling me on the inside, you need to get this together. I'm talking, now come on now, Our Father prayer. We learned that in kindergarten. And I couldn't even get through that. That's how the enemy fought me in prayer. The enemy is fighting you all so hard in marriages. In your marriage, because listen here, this is the thing where you're going to be the most powerful. This is the area where you're going to have authority. This is going to be your area of authority. You're going to move in such a powerful dimension in marriages. I'm telling you, the places in which the enemy fights you the greatest is the place where you're going to have the greatest authority. I had a woman of God ask me, she said, woman of God, how is it that, you still go in so powerful in the marriage ministry? I said, because I've already conquered the demons in this area. That when the enemy come after you, He come after you to stop you from progressing in this thing. But I say, I conquered this devil. And now because I've conquered the devil in my home, I'm able to do it for others. Glory be to God. And so I'm just thankful for what God is doing, not only in my life, but also in yours. Listen here. We cannot, listen here. Many are the affliction of the righteous, but the Lord shall deliver you from them all. All these things that you are going through right now, the Lord is going to deliver you from them all. But you've got to remain steadfast in Him. Don't allow the enemy to take you off balance, praying 24 hours for your husband, praying 24 hours for your marriage. Let me tell you something. When you're going to pray for your healing, when you're going to pray for your mind to stay right, listen here, y'all just know this thing could cause you to lose your mind. When you're going to pray for your mind to be together, some of y'all just need to just put your marriage and your husband like on the back burner, and you need to focus on praying for the Lord to help you right now, because you can't be a wounded soldier talking about you going into battle. Hello? You got to have strength. You need to have mental clarity. You got to be able to do this. Sometimes you got to just take a break from just laboring for marriage and just because, Lord, just who you are. I just need to know who you are. I need to know you, God. And that's the place where I came when the Lord really began to really elevate me. That's right, you got to rest. When I say, God, I put this at your feet. I said, if you can't fix this, this can't be fixed. Let me go pray and read the word and get my spiritual life together. Because this thing would take me out. I already saw it. I didn't see it. If I'd continue on crying before the Lord to fix this and fix that, trust me, I would have been messed up. But I take a break from that stuff. I was like, Lord, I gotta, how old I was now. 20 something, must be early 30. I said, listen here, my life, I shouldn't be in this place. Let me find my purpose and put my ducks in order. Praying for marriage all the time and praying for emotion and straighten this and straighten that. No, you got to take a break from that sometime. But anyhow, you guys, I told my husband I was going to put all out on Periscope today. I got to save some 20 whole days. You all pray for me. So that means I got to really seek the Lord. I got to seek the Lord more. But I'm challenging myself because sometimes we could get in a place where we're too comfortable. We got to stretch ourselves, in God. That worship what you did yesterday, that ain't good for the day. You got to new levels. You got to search for new levels in Him. That worship would take you 2, 3, 4 years ago. You got to now increase. That Bible reading that you used to do every day 2 years ago, listen here, you need to go deeper. And I'm guilty of that. The Lord had to tell me, I need you to go deeper. Get you some fresh oil, absolutely. The Lord tell me, listen, you need to go deeper. What get me here, He ain't gonna get me into my next season. I gotta go deeper. The heights where God want to take me, it can't go to what I used to do. I got to go deeper. And so listen here, allow the season of transformation to take place in your life. It's okay to be quiet in this season. You know something, church people will push you. They know you as a minister of the gospel. That's why people so burned out. Listen here, that's why people so burned out. Your church know you as a prayer warrior. Your church know you are intercessor. Your church know you as a minister of the gospel. Now you're going through this hell. They won't allow you to sit down, being burned out. It's okay to sit down and shut up in this season and be quiet. It's okay. It's okay that in this season of life where you're going through, you can't pray for everybody. It's okay. It's okay that sister called you for prayer, and right now you ain't in the right headspace to pray for her. It's okay. As a matter of fact, everybody who tell me to pray for them, I used to just don't pray for them, but I just let you know right off the top, I can't take that on in prayer right now. You know, people say, oh, pray for me, and you faithful prayer warrior, you gonna pray for everybody. Listen here, now this season of my life when I am in, you know how religious we is, you all know. Oh, Sister Meltoria, could you pray for me, please? I trying to get this mortgage, sis. Right now, I can't take on that burden in prayer. It's okay that you're resting in this season. It's okay that you're in your cocoon, allowing yourself to process your mental, your physical, your emotion. It's okay. Sister Meldoria, listen, I need you to pray. I trying to get this car. I need you to pray for this. Sis, I can't take that on right now in this season. It's okay. As a matter of fact, Sister Meldoria, my husband out here, listen here, he doing this crazy stuff. I don't know what he's doing, sis. I having trouble now. I can't take, listen, you ain't even got to tell him you having trouble. Sis, right now, I can't take on that burden in prayer. But I pray, I hope that you find the strength that you can pray for that situation. It's okay. It's okay, people. I know we want to put on, we strong, we take it on Sister A, Sister B, Sister C, Sister D. No. I can't do that in this season. Listen here, some people, I trying to get this money and I trying to get that money. Well, sis, I trying to get some money too. I can't take on that burden in prayer right now. Could I be honest? Mm-hmm. Could I be honest with you? I was thinking back a couple of years ago. When, listen, I love dancing, as a matter of fact. I really, really love dancing. I had a passion for dancing. But listen, at the same time, I was not producing like I used to produce in the earlier years. And so what used to happen is when I'm scheduled to dance, I'm talking about, and you get more attacked because you praying for everybody because your brother's sick. Yes. Crystal God's daughter. Oh, listen. I was in the season of my life where when you see it's time for me to minister and dance, it's my time. It's time for the dance ministry to minister, and I'm going before the Lord for a song to dance. And by the time as we done finish putting that dance together and that song line up with the whole entire service, glory be to God. But when you see I was going through, listen. When you see I was going through all the hell with my marriage and all the emotional up and down and the borderline depression, the hurt, the crying every night. Listen, now, when you see my time to minister, first of all, I cancel and practice every other practice. When time to minister on Sunday, the song ain't got nothing to do with the word. Ooh, come on now. God gives you permission to be still, absolutely. Listen here, I was a wreck. The song don't got nothing to do with the service. I was off. But I still was trying to minister because that was what I knew how to do. But listen here, I thank God for my pastor's wisdom at the time. My pastor had to tap me on the shoulder and say, time out, Sister Meltorio. Time out. I need you to time out for the season. Thank God he did that. Thank God he did that. My God. Like we talking about financial breakthrough and I dancing but heal the sick. Off. My God. And the thing about, let me tell you something. Let me tell you how off I was. I got injured dancing. So you see, sometimes you just need to just sit down. It's okay. It's okay. You right now, you need to get things together at home. Right? You got to process. You need to transform. But people will tell you, take care of God's business and he will take care of yours. Guess what? That's true. But not during the season that you're being processed. You're being processed. You're being mentally attacked. You're being shot down by the enemy. I'm talking about straight war in your house. How many people lost their marriages? With the same scripture, with the same word, take care of God's house. And he will take care of yours. People losing their marriage and family over this. Ministering in the pulpits, preaching day in and day out with all the oil and the house crashing. They so burdened down with the church business that they ain't get time to minister to their own self. Come on, Calvin, sure enough, you can't be the repair when you under repair. It's okay. And let me tell you something. See, you got to shift with the season, and you got to know what season you in. Some people don't know what season they in. I know, listen here. I know that season of youth pastoring and dancing, that dance ministering. I know that season was over in my life. I ain't even know you pastor now. You see when people gotta see this is talk about knowing the times and the season. That season over. That season when you preaching and hooting. Listen here. God is trying to get you new oil. I'm a dance minister too, so you know it's a passion. God trying to get something new to you. A dance leader, actually, yes, I was a dance leader. Leading 10 girls and broken and hurting and bleeding. Come on, somebody. It's okay. You know something? This is the reason why a lot of pastors and ministers getting burned out right now. Because you won't sit and repair. You won't sit and repair. Sit and repair. The Lord cannot put new wine in old wine skin. Shift with the season. It's time for preparation. The enemy attacking you because he ain't trying to let you get to that next level. But you won't shift with the Lord. The Lord allowing you the season of your life so you could shift, so you could prepare, that new wine skin, so you could get new oil. But you ain't want to shift. Crystal, God's daughter, listen here, people will dry you out, put you on the, listen here, I don't know if you all know but anything, but putting clothes on the line and drying, right? But on the island when we wash, you don't have to do this, but you notice how they did in the olden days when you didn't have a dryer. You take the clothes and you wash them and you put them on the line and hang them to dry. By the time as they come off the line, they stiff. You hang them out like this, when you take them off, they still like that. Waiting on the sun. you just how you pin the shirt, on the line when you take it off like this. They will put you on the line, and when you come off, you dry. You praying for everybody. You out there ministering to everybody. And when you come off the pulpit, when you done come down, you dry. Dry. Listen here, the clothes ain't get no piece of moisture in it. Dry. Come on now. It's okay to sit down, people. It's okay. And some people want, oh my God. Anyhow, I gotta say, listen here, y'all. I trying to do 20 scopes before 2018. And the Lord has just been speaking to me. I'm talking about, I started to write stuff down because I'm like, God, where you want me to release this? Like when? When you want me to talk about this? Yeah, this is some good information, but God, when you want me to talk about this? So, when I begin to have those downloads, I asked the Lord a question, the Lord come back with a whole download of stuff, so I had to write things down. So in order to push myself in order to push myself. I'm asking the Lord to give me the grace to come on Periscope or Facebook Live so I can complete my mission of having done 200, a total of 200 Periscopes before 2018. So listen here. I feel I could go on the rest of the night, but I believe you all get the picture. Metamorphosis. A change of the form or nature of a thing or person into a completely different one by natural or spiritual means. Awesome scope tonight. Thank you, Kel Mins. Metamorphosis can take weeks, months, or even years, depending on the dictionary say the insects, but we talking about individuals here. It depends on the individual. How long are you going to be in the process of metamorphosis? Are you going to rest? Are you going to go in that place of seclusion where God can transform your mind, transform your spirit, transform your physical body? Are you going to go in that place? Or are you going to let people put you out on the line and drive? It's totally up to you. It's totally up to you. You going to let people suck all the moisture out of you? Or you going to allow yourself to be transformed? Are you going to allow yourself to be transformed in this season of your life? I tell you guys before, don't go to hell all this time. You're going to hell and coming out empty-handed. Don't go to hell and come out empty-handed. You got to come out with power. You got to come out with authority. Hello. You got to come out with fresh anointing, new oil. You got to come out with it. And listen here. Listen here, time out. You know how some churches, they say, excuse me, pastor, sir. Excuse me, pastor, ma'am. I need to sit out the season. I'll be back. It's time for me to sit out. Let me tell you something. My current pastor now, he telling me I need to move, I need to do more. And, people telling me I need to do more. But listen here, I made a vow to God like 13 years ago. 13 years ago, when I had, almost 14 years ago, I think it was, when I had just rededicated my life to the Lord. And I coming off the scope right now because I've probably been on here about an hour. I had just recently rededicated my life to the Lord. I was a teenager at the time. And after I finished this, I get close. I was a teenager at the time. And I had just rededicated my life to the Lord because I had a teenager and had a young baby. So, being in church and, you had a baby, listen, that was a time of, my Lord, condemnation. I went into a deep, dark place because I get catch. Okay? And so I had rededicated my life to the Lord. And I had this dream that when I stepped back into the church, I began to turn to ashes. And I began to see myself that, everybody was excited that I became a Christian again, that they wanted me to do this and do that. And, they were pushing the mic in my hand and all this stuff. People will push you into things that God ain't graced you for. And so I saw them pushing me to minister to people, pushing me to do this stuff in the church. And I began to die. And I said, I did not understand what that dream meant. But I said, God, you know my address. You know my phone number. You know what I could do and what I can't do. I ain't volunteering for ministry no more. You got to, whatever you want me to do, Lord, I need you to speak to me concerning this matter. Because I will not allow nobody to force me to what you ain't graced me for. And I'm telling you, I stopped volunteering to do this stuff and I stopped. All together, all together. That's my story. You ain't got to do the same thing. You could volunteer. I'm just telling you me. I stopped volunteering for stuff because people will dry you out. You in nursery, you in nursery ministry or daycare ministry, and you supposed to be usher. You ain't get no grace for the daycare, but because you want to do the work of the Lord, let me tell you something. If you're not in line with God called you to be, if you're not aligned with your purpose and you're doing something outside of what God called you to be, or you're working for the enemy. If God called you to be a minister of music and you're around here ushering, guess what? That's a way for the enemy to operate in the church. And you shall get burnt out very quickly because you don't have the grace for that. So anyhow, I pray that this scope has been a blessing to you. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you guys for rocking with me. I appreciate you. Listen here, for those of you that are making ways to the conference next year, April 6th and 7th, 2018. I'm excited about it. For those of you who want to join us, I say about 2 days earlier. So that's about April 4th. We are going to 48 hours of prayer for marriages. We are going to 48 hours of prayer for the conference. If you want to join, listen here, you are free to join 2 days before the conference. Come to California a little bit earlier so we can definitely have some time in the presence of the Lord. I'm excited about it. I'm excited for what God is doing for marriages on the whole. I'm excited that God is raising up an army of women, glory be to God, who is coming forth with power and authority. I'm talking about heavy hitters, sharp shooters in the realm of the spirit. God is raising up seals. Continue to be encouraged. Continue to be in that place where God is transforming and renewing you. Glory be to God. Know this, that God is not a respecter of persons. If he did it for me, he is well able and capable of doing for you. So listen here, allow yourself to be transformed. Allow the Lord to process you. Allow the Lord to renew your strength and renew your mind. So listen here, when you come out, you are coming out like a beautiful butterfly. Glory be to God. So listen here, you guys, thank you guys for coming on. If you would like to sow into the ministry, sow for your marriage, sow a seed for your marriage, listen here, go to www.therealmarriageministry.com. I encourage wives, for if you say, woman of God, I done try everything, I don't know what else to do. Listen here, sow for your marriage. Seeds will bring forth fruit. So listen here, it doesn't matter if you say, woman of God, I don't know about that, I don't know what to do. Listen here, ask the Lord, Lord, what would you accept as a seed, glory be to God, for my husband's salvation at this time? I'm a firm believer. Now, this ain't gotta be true. But I'm a firm believer you can sow your way out of anything. You can sow your way out of anything, because while people were sowing for job, while people were sowing for house, pay rent, for car, I said, God, I don't have all them stuff. I need my marriage restored. And I took a leap of faith. And while everybody was sowing for everything else, I was sowing for my marriage. And God is just so faithful that he did exactly what I asked. He turned it around. Glory be to God. God turned it around. And he turned it around for my good. That's why I'm here before you today. And so listen here, go to my website, www.therealmarriageministry.com, and definitely sow a seed. Meltori is such a blessing. So happy to say we're both island girls. Yes, island girls, the Bahamas. Yes, living an abundant life. For those of you who are just joining me, please catch the replay. I believe this scope will be a blessing to you. And those of you who are watching by way of YouTube, listen here, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Glory be to God. I believe it'll be a blessing to you. I have some announcements to make. I'm like this close to spilling the beans, but I'm gonna wait so I can get some more periscopes out. Okay, so you all have an awesome day, and thank you guys for joining me, and thank you so much for the hearts. God bless you.